down the alleyway, he looked up to see the endless series of pipes and nozzles stretching up along the sides of the refinery walls, spewing out steam and gas. Up ahead, a particularly large cloud of steam blocked his view of the other side. Suddenly he heard 2 clicks behind him. A voice called out. "Stop right there!" Someone called out threateningly. Jason slowly turned around to see the same 2 darkly clad figures brandishing dangerously looking firearms, pointed straight at him. What is going on? Jason thought, as his heart rate skyrocketed. You're barking up the wrong tree, Jason managed to say desperately, trying to sound brave and unafraid as possible. It wasn't working all that well. The 2 figures looked at each other, then one of them spoke. "We have reason to suspect you've been helping the Curdans," he spoke, as if he were saying to Jason he had left a letter on his doorstep. "I would never," Jason said, sounding certain about what he said, until he remembered the letter he had gotten that morning. His confidence began to waver. "We don't take kindly to traitors," the other man said. Wait," Jason started to say. The man raised his rifle, and a shot rang out that shattered his courage. The alleyway seemed as quiet as the wastelands. Jason looked down at his chest, but it wasn't bloody at all, and he didn't feel any pain. Looking up, and saw the man slump over and fall to the ground, dead. The other man rushed to help his comrade as Jason saw this happen. A hand came out and pulled him into the smoke. "Stay quiet," he heard a girl's voice say. "They'll send more after us." Jason was too shaken at this point to question the logic of the situation, and so he followed whoever this person was through the smoke, not sure who they were or whether they were followed by this whoever person through the smoke, and whether they were any better than the 2 men that had tried to kill him. Finally, they reached the end of the alley, and as the smoke cleared, Jason saw his rescuer for the first time. She was a girl, not older than he was, with dark flowing hair and olive skin. Jason suddenly realized wearing a scarf and a woven cloak. That was when he knew she was from Curdon. Instantly he took a revolver from his bag and raised it at her, to find she had done the same. "You're one of them," Jason said. "One of those stupid Curdons." "My name is Estra," she said calmly, her strange-looking rifle trained on him with expert precision. "And yes, I am from Curdon." The 2 circled each other, weapons trained. "You're the person whose people were following me, right?" Jason yelled, all his anger taking over. For his father, for Uncle Jack, and hundreds of other things that he had nothing to do with Estra, but he was angry at her for them anyway. "Right?" he yelled again. Esther smiled at him and shook her head. "Of course. You're now officially a traitor to the Empire." Jason was struck by the thought. The Empire, that he had worked so hard for, had given everything to, was all against him now because of this one stupid girl. But Jason stayed to his hand. Out of curiosity, angrily, he asked, "What is it you bloody well want?" "You got the letter, I see," she asked, still eyeing him cautiously. "Took my advice," she said, eyeing his revolver with a keen eye. "It was you," Jason said, tightening his grip on the revolver. "You sent me that box." "Yes, it was me. Now you're going to listen to me or not," she said, seeming to be less concerned. "How did you get my father's trunk? What are you doing this?" he asked, every instinct in him burning to pull the trigger on her. But something forced his hand, and he relented. "Answer me, you filthy Curdon." That was it for Estra, who threw down her rifle. "Listen," she said. "I'm not your enemy. They are." She threw up her hands and then motioned her head to the sounds of shouting and commotion that was coming nearer. Jason stood there, still trained on Estra. "Look, I just saved your bloody life. Is that not enough?" she shouted. "I could have just let you die." Jason snapped out of the focus he was in. Biting through his malice, he asked as calmly as he could. "You're right," he said. "Where do we go?" "Follow me," she said, "and keep your revolver out." Esther ran to the edge of the corner and peered around it. Instantly, a volley of shots came ricocheting across the walls as Esther turned back. "Well, we can't go that way," she said, somehow unshaken by the fact that she was mere seconds away from getting shot in the face. Jason was near hysterical, but didn't want to look scared in front of Estra, his enemy. "We have to go up," she said, and both of them looked at the maze of pipes and other protruding things that seemed to stretch all the way to the sky. "That's ridiculous," Jason said. "How in the—" A chorus of shots rang out, bouncing off the pipes right in front of him, one bullet whizzing inches past his ear. Instantly, Jason's fight-or-flight instincts kicked in, and he jumped and grabbed one of the pipes and clambered up. "Come on," Esther said, already far ahead of him. "You're crazy," Jason yelled back, as more shots ricocheted off the walls, somehow not hitting him or her Esther. She smiled in response in a crazy sort of way, and kept climbing faster. Jason knew they were not going to last long on the wall as another round hit the pipes. Jason couldn't take it anymore. "We can't have them keep shooting at us," Jason yelled. "Let's just surrender." "I don't think that's an option," Esther said as a pipe was ripped from its place by a storm of bullets. Jason was scared now. There was no escape. They were doomed. He looked up at Estra, who didn't seem to be sharing the same feelings. Estra looked back at him and yelled something, taking out a strange-looking tool. Jason looked down. It was a pretty long way down. He looked up again. "What was that?" he called out. Estra hitting a big-looking pipe while trying to say, "Hold on!" She hit the pipe again and again. Each time the pipe became weaker and weaker. "What in the devil's name are you do—" was all Jason could manage. With one last strike, the pipe exploded, sending a flood of super-hot black liquid gushing out onto their pursuers below. Jason grabbed onto a protruding pipe and held on for dear life. After hearing the screams of agony from the attackers below, Jason looked back up. Esther was waving her hands now for him to follow. Frantically, he followed Esther as they scampered up the rest of the pipes. "In here," she called back, motioning to a really big pipe. Jason pulled himself up, then took one last look behind him. "Whoa," he said to himself. "That's a long way down." The streets down below were covered in whatever black liquid that the pipe was carrying. Looking back, he scrambled into the massive pipe that Esther was already in. He sat down next to her, feet dangling off the edge, gasping a sigh of relief. He slowly sat himself up and looked at the view below.